Good evening, everyone. On this Friday night, we have blizzard warnings, winter storm warnings, high wind warnings, ice on the way, snow falling now. We'll go over all of it here. Bring your questions. I'll have the details and what you need to know. This is Hutch's weather.
Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
We'll waste no time as we get into the details and what you can expect this evening and overnight. Here is what I was speaking of as we went through the last couple of days. Thunderstorms, some of them strong, some of them severe south of Rochester, moving into southern Minnesota. This convective activity right here is going to lift its way toward the valley to the north and to the east. And as we go through the overnight, we could have a few rumbles of thunder as it changes over to sleet, freezing rain, and a band of heavy snow accumulating quickly. Meanwhile, from Devil's Lake right down to the Steele County area, we have a band of heavier snow along with this system that's working from west to east. The air temperatures are much colder there. We have some ice starting to show up. Let's take a look at what we can see on the area cameras when it comes to North Dakota's road conditions right now heading into your evening. And again, you're welcome to drop a comment and a question. I'll address those to the best of my ability as we go through as I see them. First and foremost, things were snowing a little bit earlier out to the west. Where you see the yellow roads, those are ice-covered roads out there west of the Minot area near Blithedale. And as we take a look at the camera shots there, it's a little dark, but they're ice and snow covered in that area. Look at Watford City as we look around that area. Not quite as much coverage on the area road surface, but we still have icy roads being reported in part out in McKenzie County to the west. Oh my goodness, do you see this? That's snow in purple there, and that's near Steele on I-94. And check this out. Whoa! What? We're going from the 60s to flakes of flying horizontally out there, and that's in Kidder County. So that's what's going on there. You get to the west a little bit, Medora in Stutzman County reporting wet roads at this particular time. So that's how we're seeing, and that's how we're looking right now. Keep in mind, we do have some changes in the offing. Now, let's get right back to the radar because it's very interesting across our area, and it's not just our area. If you checked out my live just moments ago nationally, we have a tornado outbreak heading into St. Louis right now, just on the western suburbs. Tornadic thunderstorms, numerous ones, are pushing into the western suburbs now. A few isolated tornadoes along the Missouri and Arkansas border as well, as this active severe weather will work its way into the central plains and southern plains, even into the wee hours of the overnight. For us, the pink counties you see on this map, that is a winter storm warning that is in effect for the northern counties. Let's get to the latest on the radar once again, because it is amazing what is going on out there south of Minneapolis. So you look at Mankato, look at Northfield, look at New Prague, look at Gaylord, New Ulm, all of these areas out here. We got St. James. We're also looking at the area here just south of Hutchinson. We're seeing some heavy rain showers pushing their way in, with thunder and lightning being reported with this activity. So good, much needed moisture pushing its way up through southern Minnesota. There is an advisory for the Rochester area for these storms. There have been some reports out here. Looks like some wind gusts right along the border with Iowa here, over 40 to 50 miles per hour. So these storms have produced some interesting weather there. As we take a look and loop this, you're going to see that these showers are making their way up to the north and to the east at this particular time, as the snow showers push through Steele, the Linton, Hazleton, Moffett, Braddock area towards Napoleon, Gackle, Streeter, Medina. All of you will be seeing a quick shot or a narrow band of flying flakes. Right now, it's warm enough for rain still. Here's a look at your temperatures at this particular hour. We went from highs in the 60s today down into the mid-30s very quickly. Look at, we're still in the 70s in the Twin Cities as those thunderstorms are ripping towards Wilmer. We have about a 64-degree reading. I hear stars. Thank you for everyone. 81 mile per hour wind gust in Macomb, Illinois tonight. It says B.A. Bittner. Thank you for your input. And we won't have anything that strong from thunderstorms that are heading in your area that I'm seeing right now, BA. But we have gotten some reports of 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. And believe it or not, the blizzard that takes effect tomorrow, the winds coming with this system overnight by around 4 to 8 a.m. in the Red River Valley of North Dakota, Minnesota. We'll see some gusts over 60 and dare I say 70 miles per hour. So some very, very chunky weather moving through indeed. Thanks for your input. I always appreciate it. So temperatures cold enough out here in the west for things that are snowing now to become very icy and slippery. Keep that in mind as this system works its way through. I've got to look at a model for you real quick. Let's go to that with some model guidance. It's always good to see what a model thinks is going to happen. This is a rapid updating model that updates every hour. And it really is showing, whoops, there is, if I sink my chair all the way down, pardon me, you can look at my bald spot up there while I readjust my furniture here. Okay, there's your low pressure center moving through Minneapolis, and this is how quickly this storm system moves through. Notice the northern Red River Valley not seeing much of anything precipitation-wise. That includes northwesternmost Minnesota. We may get some. Much of North Dakota will be done here shortly as this system winds its way through with the snow and the precipitation, but the gusty wind will continue to take hold. Now, when I go ahead and zoom in on this, we can kind of dial in what this model is thinking. And I'll be honest with you, this isn't my favorite model, but it's one that's ready, and it's one that I wanted to kind of show you because most of them are agreeing. The rain we have here and the thunder by 3 a.m. will push its way along the Minnesota border with the Dakotas. And that's where we're going to get these brief, very heavy, rapidly accumulating bands of sleet, rain, and snow. Thunder snow. Whoa. Okay, look at the snow. Heavier band in South Dakota than in North Dakota, but it will not take long after 3 a.m. for this to change over to snow. Now, many models the last couple of days have changed this over before daybreak in Fargo. Let's see what this model's doing now because they are changing still a little bit. Boom. There is some snow and heavy bands. You see the white gray color here? That shows Fargo. So where this sets up, this is a convective snow event, and that means we could get snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour. Does it last? 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and out. Okay? Now, if it sets up like this, Fargo stands to be on the precipice of seeing 6 inches of wet, heavy snow. The more likely area will be just east of Fargo is what I'm thinking. Look at this heavy snow. St. Cloud, Fergus Falls, Pelican Rapids. If you're in Morris, Benson, or all the way out towards Grand Rapids, that's heavy snow in the gray, and there'll be some accumulating sleet and freezing rain moving into Bemidji. But don't fret, there's snow coming to Bemidji. Check this nonsense out as it switches over to snow for you by the time you go to mid-morning, and there's your heavy band of snow reaching from Waskish, Black Duck, right down into the Park Rapids area, Wadena County, Todd County, all the way down in towards Alexandria, Minnesota, before clearing out in the afternoon hours. But the wind will continue as well. Has there been a tornado that had a snow system combined, a snow-nado? That's a really good question. Michael, I will say this, in systems similar to this, I want to try to remember the date. I think it was November the 1st of like 2001 in Bismarck. We had a winter storm warning and we were expecting up to 6 to 10 inches of snow for Dickinson. At the same time, we had active tornadoes happening in Bismarck and they moved north fairly quickly. So the snow and the tornado not in the same cell, but it is not uncommon when we get convective type of precipitation like I've been talking about to have a spin up if it's in the right place. Oftentimes that's not the case. The warm front would be on this side. The cold north winds on the back side, that's where we're going to be getting our snow from. And those are not often tornadic just because of their setup. Oh, lovely, says Cheryl. Yeah, some of us feel lovely because it's moisture. And boy, do we need it. A quick check of that. But let's go ahead and focus, Hutch, on what we have for the timeline. So here's what we have. Tonight, rain, rumbles of thunder as we go between 11 and 3 a.m. This heavy rain and sleet is going to set up very close to the Red River Valley and eastern parts of South Dakota on the I-29 corridor and bordering counties with Minnesota. Meanwhile, the band of snow you see here moving through these areas right now, this model looks pretty good, maybe just a little bit. It's happening a little faster than what this model said. Now let's take a look at what happens by daybreak. Now, at daybreak, let's say between 5 and 7 a.m. Band of heavy freezing rain. This is at convective, gusts to 70 miles per hour. This says 60. I'll show you that this is now up to 70 on some of the models. Look at that Fergus Falls gust. This model picking up gusts approaching 70 miles per hour for parts of the Red River Valley, 50 to 70 mile per hour winds wherever you see these yellow colors right here. Yellow is bad. Bananas are good. Yellow on Hutch's map, bad. We don't like that. Now, as we take a look how quickly this moves out, it's gone. Still gusty wind in parts of northern Minnesota and eastern Minnesota. Will still be breezy here, but boy, will we really cool off. And any wet snow becomes icy snow. Thank you, Lynette. Appreciate you. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you as well. Jordan, thanks for your sharing of stars. What can Mentor expect? Look at Mentor here. So if you look up here, we're not expecting much with regards to the accumulation there. Let's get to your expectation of whatness. Let's talk about it right now. Here's Hutch's forecast. This has now changed over from a potential amount of snow to what I think is going to happen. I've been saying 1 to 4 inches in a wide area. And where the snow hits, that's what's going to happen. So Fargo will fit in this 1 to 4 inch band. Grand Forks is going to be in the 0 to 1. It looks like just schmutz. Not a lot of anything there. I don't know what schmutz is, but it can't be good. Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Likely some freezing drizzle there because your temperatures got colder faster, so your ground is colder. So some of this precipitation could freeze on the roads. It's going to be icy and very windy from the north, but not a lot of snow. The band moving through Jamestown and out of the Kidder County area right now, that's going to lay down. And I think I said this earlier, but you see this little band showing up here? There's a secondary band with these storms oftentimes associated with energy in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, and those can set up. So any one of these could produce a narrow band of heavier snow than 0 to 1, but not as much as what we see here. There will be a narrow band co-located with that icing that happens, and maybe just a little bit farther to the west of where the ice falls. The ice potential would be here, and I'll show you that in a second. 3 to 10 inches. 3 to 10 inches will be the rule anywhere you see this white to pink color, and up to 15 in a few spots. So keep that in mind. This includes all of you in Beltrami County, Bemidji, all the way up through parts of Lake of the Woods County, and getting on in towards International Falls as well. If you're in Clearwater County, if you're in the eastern reaches of Pennington and Red Lake counties, look at the ramp go here from up to 15 down to 0.4. That is called the shutoff valve right there. So it will quickly ramp down. Now, as we take a look down here, we have Otter Tail County. This is all of Otter Tail County. All of Becker County are going to be in that heavier band of snow potential as we go through. Winter storm warning up in northern Minnesota, blizzard warning down here, and we showed you the 70 mile per hour winds. Can you imagine snow flying at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the morning in Fergus Falls and winds gusting to 70 miles per hour? No, thank you. Thank you, sponsors, says Michael, and thank you very much for recognizing my sponsors. Let's take a look at this. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to take a time out. What you need to know is Hutch will be here tomorrow, but you need to make important decisions based on this and based on this next graphic. Ice. Ice, ice, baby is going to be hitting the valley, and that's going to happen overnight and into the morning hours for Minnesota. This area that you see here, this is not all freezing rain. That's 0.6 of an inch of freezing rain for the Morris Benson area. And down in here, Grant County, Fergus Falls getting a healthy dose. There's going to be that sleet. Sleet is like clear ice balls, okay? And they tick off your window, but they'll accumulate. And then your tires will run over them, and you'll have a ½ inch of ice on highways, byways, your road, your sidewalk, your deck, your Davenport, if you leave that outside. I don't know, it could happen. All right, so there is a band of ice showing up here in Polk County. This would be from not far from you folks in the Fertile area, right up into Red Lake Falls, all the way up through Thief River Falls, Oakley, and in toward Grigla maybe. So we do have a chance for some icing taking place here, but we already saw it snow in the Kidder County area. So this could be a little narrow band of ice in that secondary band, but that will quickly change over to snow. Watch out for slippery roads. The snow will be ending in western and central North Dakota by morning. You're not going to see much of that at all. The valley and points east will deal with it through mid-morning. Central Minnesota and east will deal with it until Saturday evening. So here's what I want you to know. What do I want you to know? Well, we're going to get some beneficial moisture out of this. 1 to 3 inches of liquid equivalent moisture across most of Minnesota, eastern South Dakota, and only southeasternmost North Dakota, picking up closer to a ½ inch of liquid equivalent precipitation from this event. So that's what we're looking at. Let's see. I know I'm getting questions. I'd say we're past December. Larry says, indeed. Hi, Herbert. Good to see you on board. Bonnie says, could we have power outages? Yes. So when we get this icing that we showed you on graphic 5, I'll lose coffee. Graphic 5, please pull it up, producer. Okay, says producer. Here we go. Graphic 5 shows ice. When we get ice and wind that gusts over 50 miles per hour, any power lines, they'll start to do what's called galloping. And there's going to be snow that's wet and heavy too. So there's a chance of it. We have robust power lines. We have great power companies that are going to take care. Those linemen get out there in the worst of conditions like this, ice, snow, and wind, and they get your power on just as soon as they can. But there is the possibility for that on your Saturday. Dana reminds me that VFR is not recommended if you are a pilot and you want to get some hours in. Tomorrow is not recommended for visual flight regulations, so keep that in mind. Dana, thank you so much for your reminder. I always forget that. Our aviation friends out there are going to have a rough and tumble day, although if you're driving, the gas mileage would be pretty good if you're heading south, and it's going to go to the toilet tank as you're going north, because north winds up to 70 miles per hour will not be good. That said, no joking around here with regards to our wind. Our wind gusts to 70 could cause major problems. The entire Red River Valley is in a high wind warning. Here's a look at those warnings real quickly so you can soak those in for just a hot minute here. Let me go back to another, there it is. Okay, so we'll go back to this map, and what you're going to see here is where the warnings are and what we have. So let me back this radar up so we can see. We do have a blizzard warning for Otter Tail County. Looks like we got something blinking here. It must be new, updated. Blizzard warning. The blizzard warning for this area is from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. I say you should be where you want to be by 1 a.m. tonight. Otter Tail County, Grant County, and we're expecting some very significant snowfall. How much? This is the National Weather Service text. Up to a foot of snow. Hutch thinks there'll be isolated pockets with even more than that. And wind gusting as high as 60 miles per hour. And I've seen some models showing up to 70 mile per hour gusts. So indeed, it's going to be a non-fun kind of day in the blizzard warn area. Fergus Falls, this does include Wilkin County for you folks out there as well. So keep that in mind. Alexandria, Morris, Benson, Millbank, Sisseton in the Sisseton Hills, I-29 corridor, blizzard warning straight down through Watertown and Brookings, South Dakota as well. This goes all the way into southwestern Minnesota, but stop shy of Sioux Falls. So those are the areas of concern for the blizzard. But I'm going to tell you this. One of the reasons blizzards have specific definitions. It has to have the winds and the zero visibility with that heavy snow for 3 hours. Okay. Some of us in Fargo, some of us in Becker County, some of us in Clay County, we're going to get maybe a period of pretty heavy snow, but it's not going to probably last 3 hours. So they did a fantastic job, in my opinion, of carving this out. That's a tough job. And my colleagues at the National Weather Service have done this. But it's going to be blizzard-like briefly in places like Hawley, Fargo, maybe Glendon, and on up into Norman County for you folks in Borup and Ada. If you are in areas here, let's say Monoman, Nadawash, and this is all of Becker County right here. You're in a winter storm warning, but you could briefly have periods and bouts with blizzard-like conditions. We're still expecting snowfall in these warned counties here for the winter storm warning. As I get the details on this for you, you're going to basically see that we're still expecting robust amounts of snow, 3 to 6 inches here. And up to a foot of snow is possible. Yeah, it could happen. I showed you those narrow little bands going on there. And this is from 4 a.m. to 7 p.m. on your Saturday with gusts to 55 miles per hour. Why is it weaker there? You have trees there. North Dakota don't have as many trees, the Red River Valley excluded. There are some in the Red River Valley, but that tends to tunnel those winds even more. This is the high wind warning area that I was referring to. Our Red River Valley counties, from Kitson County in the Pembina area all the way down to the South Dakota border. Wind gusts to 60, maybe 70 miles per hour. Thanks for all your stars. Sue, thank you. And thanks to each and every one of you who have sponsored Hutch with stars. Jenny Dahl, thank you so very much. I'm not going to get to all the names right now, but I appreciate each and every one of you helping support Hutch's Weather. Let's talk a little bit about your questions. And if I've missed your questions, now is the time I'm really going to watch for them. So I apologize if I missed them earlier. I'm scrolling through. Will St. Cloud get anything? Yes. Let me switch this model over to precipitation amounts here. Okay, so let's go to snowfall. Dun, 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 dun. Now, this is a 10-to-1 ratio. I think that might be too high for some areas. I think we're going to have a rate. That means for every 1 inch of liquid equivalent moisture, it's 10 inches of snow. In some areas, the snow to water ratio here is probably going to be 6 or 8 inches or less. What will Browns Valley be like on Sunday? I'm getting a lot of questions here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go in and show you the snowfall potential for this model. It'll load up and you'll get to see now where it's put in the heavy band. Ooh, look at this. This model now has a pretty healthy little band for Fargo, but here's the big winner, International Falls, Bemidji, straight down into Park Rapids, Hubbard County, working its way into the Glenwood, Alexandria, Long Prairie area. What kind of amounts are those? Let me turn on my little spyglass here, and it ramps up from an inch or two to about 8 to 10 inches of snow. The big winners near Bemidji could be 12 to 15 inches. Ha ha! Hutch's numbers look pretty good. Look at this. We got some thunderstorms heading outside of Shakopee out there right now. So this is going to give us a chance for some pretty heavy rain in these areas before the snow makes its way in. So 6 to 12 up to 15 inches in that band there. Let me take a look at another model if you don't mind, because they're just now coming in. It's kind of fun to look at them. I don't know if you have the same, if we both call fun the same thing or not, but here's another model, snow amounts. Woo-wee, oofta, we say in North Dakota and Minnesota. This is a look at snowfall potential from another model. Now, I've got my forecast out there. I'm sticking to it. I'm just seeing these are new models coming in. Bemidji, Park Rapids, Camp Wilderness, straight down into Wadena County. Look at this for Douglas County, for you folks in Otter Tail County, particularly on the eastern fringes out there. Oh no, Frazee, New York Mills, it looks like your areas will have a chance at sea. So here's Frazee, you're on the edge. You're on the edge. We'll sell you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge. You could get one in that 1 to 4. Hutch said most of us will get. You go to Perham, and I'll tell you what, it's looking like there could be a quick ramp up in New York Mills here. This model says 13 inches. Wadena, 13 inches. Lake George, oh my goodness, I've been out there. Isn't that a beautiful country out there? How about we lay... that says 19.9 inches. So the potential's there for some shovel trouble squared. That would be snowblower trouble. And that is some deep, heavy snow. So that's not my forecast. This model might be a little bit out to lunch is my thought. And it's a North American model, which sometimes isn't known for doing the very, very best. Here's another high resolution model. What I am showing you is a pretty consistent track of the heavier band of snow being Lakes Country into central Minnesota. And it looks like some of the latest models are even moving it out to the east just a little bit more. Not sure that I buy that. And I'll tell you why. Well, look at that. Bemidji, Walker, International Falls. So this model that's just come in showing some significant snow out to the east of Bemidji, but still Bemidji in a big winter type of situation there. As you look at Black Duck and Bemidji, these amounts would be anywhere from 5 to 8 inches and ramping up quickly to that 10 to 15 that Hutch has been talking about. So not to confuse anybody, but that gets it. Bring that snow to Bagley. Love the snow. Stacy, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate your feedback. Stacy says, how about the trip from Oaks to Fargo mid-afternoon, please? Oaks, Fargo, icy, windy, and snow amounts pretty minimal. So ice, I think, and wind will be your main battle, and it can be terrible, right? So be careful. And that reminds me, hutchesweather.com is a tool that I and my buddy Joe, please thank Joe, please thank all my fine sponsors, have put together for you. Hutchesweather.com is your one-stop shop. You can do the interactive radar. You can zoom it right into Oaks. So let's do that right now. Right now, if you're zooming in on the Oaks area here, south of Jamestown, you get out here by, Well, friends in Ellendale and Oaks seeing a little bit of stuff move through. Can you see it on there? Can you see it, Stacy? You bet. So looks like a little bit of shower activity there right now, working its way through, but the main line not coming through. Now, when you get on this page, one of the cool effects I got for you is road conditions. And whether you're traveling in Manitoba, see, there's going to be Manitoba snow, Saskatchewan snow, Minnesota snow. There's even going to be snow in South Dakota. And you want to know what the roads are going to be like because you're driving to South Dakota to see South Dakota neighbors. Look at this. If you take a look at the top of this, you can load up North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, Iowa, Colorado. We've even got Montana and Manitoba on here if you're traveling through those areas. So your road conditions are covered here on Hutch's Weather. And here's a pro tip. Right over here on the menu on the side, you see that camera toggle? Click the camera toggle, turn them on, and you'll see cameras float. And that's where you can look with your own eyes and make decisions on your own as to what things are looking like. We're seeing snow build up now in New Rockford on the Highway 200 corridor. Let's see. Oh, goodness. Yeah. 60s to snow in hours. Unbelievable. All right, here we go. Jamestown moving into Medina. We're starting to see a little bit of activity there, but it certainly looks like it's more so moving into the New Rockford area, Carrington area. Here's Bowden. Yep, there's flakes flying horizontally. This is not going to last a terrible long amount of time, but we could get some narrow bands with some more snowfall. And that does include you and Oaks as well. So Stacy, thank you for asking. What is Fargo expected to get? Let me put up Hutch's forecast one more time. And I'm going to say we're going to be on that 1 to 2 inch category, but we could very easily get a little bit more. So I've been saying widespread 1 to 4, and I really stick with that. And if I had to put a number on Fargo, I'd put it at 2 inches of snow. And the reason I say that is because we're in a little bit of a lower elevation here, and it's a little bit warmer. Even just a little bit can make a little bit of a difference sometimes. So let's go with that 2 inches of snow for Fargo. You go just east of town, though, towards Holly, and that should ramp up quite a bit. Sherry, thanks for that. Don, thank you for your question. How about what's going on? Oh, boy. Very windy in Spiritwood right now, but nothing else. Don's wondering about Minneapolis. So let's go to the Hutch's forecast here one more time because I think it's worth reviewing and people are signing in at different times. In Minnie, we're not talking about a lot of snow by the time we get to tomorrow night. Most of it does travel up to the north. The main low moves up in that direction. And if you're on the west side of the low, that's where the snow will be. So that's what it looks like. Hutch has this wide range for a reason because this is what usually happens. People, if I put a 6 to 9 or a 6 to 10 or an 8 to 10 up here, the reason that's a problem is because snow in convective events can go from one side of town with 10 inches and literally 7 to 10 miles away, you got 3 inches. So 3 to 10 in this pink area. 1 to 4 is the quick ramp, and Fargo sits on that. Now, Fargo could very easily be closer to 4, very easily. We'll have colder air before you get it in places like Wadena, so it could start snowing here a little bit earlier, but it does not look like the snow band sits over Fargo very long. So that should limit our snow, and that's my thinking. Scott, thank you for your stars. You guys are all great. All right, let's see what else we got. Webster, South Dakota, thanks for your question. Dan, I appreciate that. As we take a look at South Dakota here, there's going to be this secondary band we've been talking about that's now moving through and towards Jamestown and Medina right now. That's going to hit here, and it looks like it gets heavier. And this might be too low for parts of the Highway 83 corridor through the central part of the Dakotas here. I think in South Dakota, we could see a 6-inch band right here pretty easily because many models are showing, including the one that I just showed, a heavier band on this South Dakota side right here. But you get into Webster and a little bit farther south, it doesn't show up too well on the map here, but let me go ahead and take a look up here. Dun, da, da, dun, da, dun, da, da. Pardon me. Well, I'm just trying to set up the shot for you here so I can try to answer your questions as efficiently as possible. So as we take a look at your area here, yeah, we're going to end up with a fair amount of snow potential. But you see that it starts in Roberts County where the blizzard warning is and moves quickly across to Minnesota. I think these areas it could very easily see this 1 to 4 that I'm talking about. And we could have a few areas, including Watertown, that get up to 4 inches of snow. This may be a little bit too far over into the Minnesota side there with that heavy band, but that's my thought for what Webster in the 1 to 4 category. And I do think a little closer to the 4 down there because the low pressure center is going to park right here, and that's going to really enhance the precip field right here if it sets up the way it's looking right now. So hope I've answered that question for you. Let me do a couple more. Wheaton and Traverse County, you can see this right here, right? Because you get down toward Lake Traverse right here, and that's the ramp here. So you're going to be in this 3 to 10, where maybe at Lake Traverse itself, you're closer to the 3-inch category or 4, and then you just head on Highway 210 out of Breckenridge towards Fergus Falls, and you're going to run into snowbanks that are just no fun, driven by 70-mile-per-hour winds. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. Friends driving back to Bemidji from Pembina tomorrow. What do you think? I think I would seriously consider changing those travel plans. When you're talking about from Pembina, not so bad. But as you get closer to Bemidji, it's going to be very bad. And there could be some considerable icing along that route as well. And 70-mile-per-hour winds. Try to stay controlled in your vehicle when you got 70-mile-per-hour crosswinds from the north and you're driving on a sheet of ice. It's just not fun and it's not safe. So please tell your friends, Rita, to really take a close look at hutchesweather.com. Click on this road condition report. When you do that, you're going to go get yourself taken into the state you want. You pick the Minnesota button here for that route, and you look. And as you look across the area, you see the camera pictures here. Have them take a look at those camera pictures along their route heading into Bemidji. First thing in the morning, it will be icing, and the snow will not be going too strongly at first in Bemidji at daybreak, but then it really unloads on Bemidji. So I'm not saying leave at 3 a.m. because it's going to be terrible then too, but please have your friends check the road conditions as you go. How much for Wahpeton, Breckenridge? Again, same thing, just told as you go from the Red River Valley in Richland County over to Otter Tail County on 210. It's going to ramp up from about that 1 to 4, which is what I would have you in, the 1 to 4 category. I'm sorry it's such a wide range, but with storms like this, even this close out, we just can't tell exactly where that heavier band will set up. But I do think it will be more likely to set up just east of you. As you get east of Wahpeton, it will ramp up quite quickly into Otter Tail County, the way it looks right now. And you know what? There are new models coming in as we speak. So hutchesweather.com, you can get the latest lives. If I'm on live, you should see it there. And you can also go ahead and scroll down to the bottom of the page on Hutch's Weather and check out my sponsors. I got to do another one of a reminder on this. Check this out. First of all of my sponsors keep and make my website possible. I'm going to mention my friends here at Luther Family Ford. They are also big-time sponsors of Hutch's Weather Kids. Visit them if you're in need of cars. They have used inventory, they have new inventory, and they have great inventory. And you can peruse it right here by clicking on this link right here for you. And now if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, I've got more sponsors there too. And I want to point these guys out here. Dunn Blazers Painting. Sean over at Dunn Blazers Painting is a sponsor of Hutch's Weather, and he paints interior, exterior, tri-state region. He's bonded, he's insured, number of years of experience. Give him a chance if you have a project coming up this spring, interior, exterior. You see this green button? Push on this, and you're going to get a front row seat from my friends at the NTROTC. You're like, what's that? Well, let me take you to the page here real quickly. This is the Northern Transcon Rail Cam. There's railroad cameras concurrent with rail yards here across Minnesota. 16 of them that you can go to any one individually live and see with your eyes what's going on. There's Perham. There is Wadena. There is a 16 frame window. You can watch 16 different cameras live all at once. Woo! I love that. Little Falls, Duluth. You also have all the way out towards Minneapolis covered on this. And of course, Moorhead is on this. So know before you go. And my friends at the NTROTC, a great way to find out. Go ahead and subscribe to that page too, because my friends over there do a wonderful job, not only maintaining the network, but building it as well. Do you have an idea for another location? Get in touch with them. They'll help you out. All right, now that's enough of that. Now let's take a look at more questions and see if we've got any more. It looks like Chaska I'm not thinking anything for that as far as heavy snow. There could be some light snow, an inch maybe. There could be some winds. There could be a little bit of slipperiness as you get north and east of Chaska. So keep that in mind, Tanya. I hope that just pouring right now in Shakopee, driving west on 212 and lightning. Woo! We've been talking about that. Let's go right to it so you can take a look. You know what? You can even watch Hutch in your car. How many of you, drop a comment, are watching on your cellular device? If you're watching on your cellular device, not the driver, but passengers can keep up to date with the latest. So let's go to Hutch's radar here and let's take a look at what's going on out there right now. Whoop, that's not the radar. This is the radar. Minneapolis, St. Paul area right now, basking in 70-degree weather right now. So that's it. Chaska, 64. And you're hearing some thunder and lightning. Why? Well, that's because Hutch needs to turn the radar on. So let's turn the radar on. Oh my goodness, there's your lightning. Chaska, one strike just happened right there, right now. Waverly, all the way out towards Winstead and heading into Cokato and also Annandale. A very heavy line of not snow. I'm so used to winter weather. This is heavy thunderstorm rain working its way through. Now, there's less lightning than there was a half hour ago, so the chances of lightning appear to be diminishing here as we head into the late night hours. But Owatonna, seeing some lightning flashes right now. We've got some strong rain and Red Wing and a few lightning strikes in these areas. This is all heading east of the metro area of the Twin Cities. It'll be crossing up to near St. Cloud in the next hour. These individual cells that are moving towards Buffalo right now, the National Weather Service says they're moving north at 44 miles per hour. So as you can see, it won't take long for these to get up to the I-94 corridor. So these areas can expect some small hail, quarter-inch in diameter. Not a big deal there. Gusty winds with these storms straight out of the south, so that's what they're preparing for. That's what you're driving through in Chaska on 212 right now. You're going to see these lift to the north, but there's more on the heels, so there'll be a little break here, a window, and if you are driving east, whoop, you're going to end up getting into even more of them as we go our way through. So that's what's going on in that particular juncture right now. Look at Sioux Falls all the way down towards Yankton. Look at this. Very heavy rain. I'm not seeing a lot in the way of the thunder and lightning in that part. Mobridge, South Dakota. Here's a heavier band. Many models take this energy, the heavier band, and slide it down this way right here into Huron and Brookings. So I'll be watching that pretty closely tonight as well. Watching from Goyner, good to have you on board. Jenny, just hopping on and missed it. How's Fargo looking? I've got us in the 1 to 4, so to review, and this is going to be my final review. Watching from Goyner, good to have you on, Dave. Thanks so much, Lisa, for watching. We're on our phones watching, Lisa says. Thank you. Sean, thank you very much for your support and your trust and your sponsorship. I appreciate you very much on Hutch's Weather. Thank my sponsors, visit their sites, and you know what? Give them serious consideration when you have business to do. I got a lot of folks that follow me here on Hutch's Weather, and I'm sure Sean would love to help you with your project. Bonnie watching from Thief River Falls. So let's go through the facts one more time, fast and painless, and then Hutch is going to grab some dinner because I'm a little hungry, and it's been one of those days. Tonight, as we go through, your temperature will be 25 in the morning after 65 or so today. And the forecast for tomorrow afternoon will have the snow moving out to the east, gusty winds continuing, icy roads aplenty, heavy snow bands as we've been showing you on the forecast. We'll do it again. 32 your high in Fargo, and we're back up into the near 40-degree range in Buffalo, South Dakota. 43 degrees. How about Williston? 29 there. Glendive, Montana at 38. Plenty wood. Still needing some plentiful wood for the fire at 24 degrees. Look at these temperatures in Bemidji for the afternoon. Heavy snow and wind could be really earmarked towards Bemidji. If Hutch had to pick a town on the map and say, Hutch, where do you think it's going to really be the biggest and baddest? I think from Bemidji to Black Duck and down into that, well, all the way out towards Grand Rapids, maybe down towards Walker. I think you guys are going to be really getting some heavy wet snow. Now, 7-day planner real quickly. Temperatures take a setback on Sunday, but it does look like we'll quiet down. The north winds will be decreasing throughout the day. We could get another shot of snow as a high pressure system moves out of the north. If you have a foot of snow on the ground, you ain't getting to 48 on Monday, but Fargo shouldn't have a foot of snow on the ground, so Hutch says 48. Remember earlier in the week I said 53 because I didn't think we were going to get the heavy snow here. Yeah, well, I've lowered it a little bit, but we very well could be back up in the 50s as we go through Monday. Now, it does look like we'll be settled back into the 40s rather than the 60s into next week with South Dakota. Southern snow chances as we go through the week for the most part, and snow possible in Minneapolis as we go through midweek as well, with a Colorado low that will move through South Dakota and southern Minnesota. For us, sunshine aplenty, a little cooler, and mighty fine weather to talk about. Now let's talk about the forecast for wind. This is one model's rendition. Do you see these digits here? These are wind gusts, 68 Fergus Falls. Anywhere from the Red River Valley, Grand Forks, Fargo, Hillsboro, all the way down into the Wahpeton, Breckenridge area, Lake Traverse, all Sisseton Hills, all of these areas have a great shot at 60-mile-per-hour winds, and if you believe this model, even more. That's combined with the nonsense that we'll be seeing first thing in the morning. I think I clicked on the wrong thing. So first thing in the morning, I think will be the worst of the conditions here in the Red River Valley. Grand Forks, Fargo, Watertown, and Otter Tail County and western parts of Lakes Country can expect gusts to that 70 miles per hour. You can expect snow and blowing snow, downright zero visibility, blizzard conditions, freezing rain, also moving into Bemidji. You're going to get the rain first in the morning. This is 7 a.m. Raining, Black Duck, raining. Grand Rapids, Bemidji starting to turn to some sleet and some accumulating ice and freezing rain, a possibility as well. Okay, so this is when the wind will be at its worst here in the valley, and it's also when the heaviest of the bands of precipitation will be moving through. After that, it quickly moves off to the east, and here is a look at Hutch's snowfall forecast, but we'll look at this one more time. Widespread 1 to 4, been saying it for about 2 days. Widespread 1 to 4. 3 to 10 in this narrow band with isolated places picking up to 15 inches of snow. Right now, and this is my forecast, I'm thinking we'll see a very good chance at the Badette area, International Falls area, straight down to Bemidji, out towards Waskish, the Red Lakes area, right down in towards portions of Hubbard County for you in Park Rapids. Here it is, Bagley. You're going to get a chance for some snow, and it drops off very, very quickly as we go off into Red Lake County, Pennington County, and western reaches of Walsh County. But if you're in, Marshall County, Minnesota, Grigla, you'll be the ramp up. Warroad, you might get a little bit more. You'll be in that 1 to 4 category, but maybe closer to 4. Warroad and on into Roosevelt and towards you folks out there in International Falls. Look at southwest Minnesota here, okay? You're looking at Benson here, Grant County, 11 inches. All of these areas here in southwestern North Dakota. This heavy band looks like it'll set up here. It could shift a little bit, but that's my forecast. So that takes a look at that. The icing potential with the storm is real, and there's going to be the accumulation of upwards of, pardon me, a ½ inch to an inch of sleet. And some areas that get freezing rain could get a trace of freezing rain to 2/10 of an inch of freezing rain. So with the wind, power outage potential is possible. All right, everybody, I really appreciate you. Perham, yep, you're in the mix for, look at Perham right here where my finger is. You could get a 1/4 inch of icing, sleet, and then it changes over to snow as you go into the early morning hours. And you will be right in the mix right here in Otter Tail County. You are in a blizzard warning and a solid chance at you're in the 3 to 10 inch category. So I'm going to stick to my guns there. You're going to get between 3 and 10 inches of snow, but the possibility will be there for even a little bit more in some locations, up to 15 inches of snow. All right, last look at the radar, and then I got to shut it down so I can feed my belly. Lots of sleet and Winkler right now. Wow, thank you very much for the report there, Sean. It's good to hear from you. Okay, so if we go up into Manitoba, I don't think I've got a lot of cameras up there, but here's the radar. I just keep going like a certain brand of battery, I guess. So Sean, I appreciate your report. Notice how the radar is showing that this is snow and you're reporting sleet. So how does a radar tell us where it's snowing versus where it's sleeting? It's using modeled temperature data in the upper atmosphere between the cloud and the ground to guess at what's going on. It's not really always true. We do have some tools with Doppler radar to take a look at some different features here, but that is what's going on near Winkler now. Let me go to the Manitoba road conditions because we can. And our Manitoba neighbors to the north, Hey, thanks for watching and trusting Hutch's weather. I appreciate your input. And now, because of that input, we're going to take a look at what's going on there and see. Now, we don't have a lot of cameras down by Winkler, but let's take a look and see what we do got. We got Emerson. So there is the one here, not too far from the Winkler area. So let's go take a check at this and see what it looks like. Letellier. That looks like some glossy streets to me, huh? I think that's what it is. Thanks for all your stars, y'all. Ice Ice Baby, says Randall Black. I've heard that tune before, and you're as cold as ice. Yes, Emerson. Let's see what you got there right at the border crossing. I think my internet needs a burrito or something, too. It's a little bit slow tonight. Okay, and it does look like north of Langdon is where we do have the reports of the snow on the radar here, but I'm just not seeing quite as many cameras on some of these rural roadways in Canada like we have in North Dakota and Minnesota. But that's not a complaint. Just I'm unable to show you much more. What's going on in Winnipeg right now on the western side of town here? Let's see what we got. Highway 1 and Highway 332. And that looks a little bit, wow, I know it isn't this daylight out there. Deacon's Corner looks a little murky, but not snowing yet. So that's what's going on. Thank you for your report. I sure appreciate it, Sean. Ice Ice Baby, indeed. Remember, you can get the latest information anytime, anywhere on hutchesweather.com. Thanks to my fine sponsors, Interactive Radar. Look at what's going on. Hit the road report button. Hit the snowfall amounts button. And if you get up first thing in the morning and report snow to your local authorities or me, that gets passed on to the National Weather Service, and the National Weather Service will plot it on this map for all of us so we can really get a view of what's going on across our area. That is my late night look. I'll be back in the morning as this mess that we see now is a mass of rain and a band of snow congeals and converges on the Red River Valley, becomes heavy sleet, thunder snow at first in the Red River Valley between about 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. That's all I got. Road conditions map is very poorly updated, says Sean. You know what? The reports from you mean even more, right? Because of that. So thank you so very, very much for your report. Thank you, Molly. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks, Molly, for Purim. I think we covered your question. Connie, thanks for your stars. Tanya, thanks for watching from Dawson, Minnesota. We talked a little bit about your drive, I believe, too. As these storms are working their way through the region. So basically, we definitely have just a wild night of weather expected. You're going to have thunderstorms with some hail in them in southern Minnesota. These are lifting to the I-94 corridor right now. And some of that thunder will remain. This heavy band of precipitation will remain as well and push into our general direction where it will converge and create some wintry goodness here in the valley. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow right here